Thinking of those days gone by now. So
Hey, Buffalo Wild Wings Mall of America, what's going on? Alrighty now. This is the Friday football. What is it now? It's the Friday Football Feast, and I'm Paul Allen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How about a round of applause for main man Sam somewhere in here, getting everything all hooked up in second and none fashion. Nick Madden Street Team, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Nordquist, producer of 9 to Noon, co-host of the Friday Football Feast. And also, in case they can hear us in the vast and ever-expanding Rotunda, how about a round of applause for the Power Trip Morning Show and the wonderful job they did today. Nice job down there, boys. Now, this is the Friday Football Feast, and plenty of football coming your way with some conversation about yesterday's games. We got a game today. We have a Vikings game this weekend against the Seattle Seahawks. But first and foremost, at 2:30 today in St. Paul, holy cow, that's a big one. The Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche. The Wild have won 6 consecutive. The Avalanche have won 10 consecutive games. This is the target at which to shoot. Today is a heat check Friday, where hopefully we're in the black against the Avs. It's a Black Friday trying to get in the black against the Avalanche. So a round of applause for the Minnesota Wild trying to pump them up from afar. And good morning, big one today, and Big Boy's going to be in attendance.
Good morning. Yes, I can't wait to get to Grand Casino Arena today because it is the heat check, man. And you think about just 2-3 weeks ago, we're talking about the hockey team in the way that maybe some are talking about our favorite football team. But everything has changed around. It started between the pipes, what you're seeing from the Blue Liners, Boldy's on like a 50-goal, 100-point season pace.
Warren, though.
Warren's going to be, oh goodness, Warren. Warren cares about 6th-round O-lineman that the Vikings passed on 8 years ago.
Yeah.
He will not be watching the hockey game today. I can't wait for it, man. What a turnaround for the state of hockey. What a turnaround for the Wild. And for a team that has had trouble beating the big-timers in the division, we saw them handle business against Winnipeg earlier over the weekend. The ability to take on the Avs today at home is going to be fun. And, the gang of 5, we're going to be in attendance today. It's going to be awesome.
So we, 9 to noon at KFAN, would like to thank the Power Trip for doing a wonderful job as the opening act for the Friday Football. Friday Football! What? It's me, Nordo, and Sam. No wireless mic to roam the crowd. No band like the last 2 weeks. Greenway and Alec can't make it. All of that in a roundabout way is analogous to the 2025 Minnesota Vikings season.
Indeed.
We're not exactly sure how, but it sounded good when I wrote it. Is our football team going to get the slimy, gross gizzard for a 4th consecutive time? Is our football team going to get that slimy, gross gizzard and a loss for a 4th consecutive time? The Minnesota Vikings are 10.5-point underdogs at the Cappuccino Capitol. You know, last time the Vikings were such a big underdog, they were at Ford Field like 9.5-point underdogs. What happened in that game?
They handled business and got the win, is what they did as underdogs at Ford Field.
Chip, chair, chance. That's why they play the games. At least that's what they tell us.
I think that's the last time they won a game, if I'm
That's
not
fair
mistaken.
point. That's why we don't want that slimy, gross gizzard for a 4th consecutive time. But given the team's record, all right, the Minnesota Vikings are 4-7. We know that. Given the team's record and the state of the NFC, records of other teams and things like that, winning the division's an impossibility, but just the records of everybody in the NFC, our conference, the cold, hard truth is this is not a playoff year for the Minnesota Vikings. Don't kill the messenger. I ain't trying to make it Red Friday. It's Black Friday. Nobody's trying to ruin holidays, trying to avoid the gross gizzard for a 4th consecutive time, but we factually are laying things out for you with a point. This is a non-playoff year for the Minnesota Vikings. So, the final 6 games of the season, at least for me, I'm going to call them human nature games, okay? These are human nature games. And here's why. The final 6 the final six for me will entail who gives the extra inch for Max Brosmer if he's the quarterback this weekend, and there's a pretty good chance that he is. Who goes the extra mile, the extra inch even, for potentially the new quarterback, and in turn is their brother's keeper. That's key this weekend and for the rest of them. Who goes the extra inch and why, and who assumes the role of their brother's keeper. You see, human nature for some just can't lead to like the attitude or the take or the approach of bleep it. Ain't going to be no playoff money, so let's just get out alive. Okay, that's unacceptable. And when you watch it or listen to it, come into it like that. There ain't no bleep it, no playoffs, no playoff money. I just want to get out of this thing alive. And I don't care that an undrafted guy who many felt didn't have a right to be in the National Football League may be a quarterback for multiple games. That is not the right approach. The thy, not I approach for the Minnesota Vikings through these final six is absolutely where I will be casting my gaze. Now, 2023 was a non-playoff year, all right? 2023, the team didn't make the playoffs, but it wasn't determined until relatively late in the equation that the Vikings would not make the playoffs. Well, that's not the case the year of our Lord 2025. I mean, we all know the score with basically what do we got left? A month and a half? A month and a half left. And the Vikings into this week pretty much knew they weren't going to be a playoff team. And think about this. There are 3 holidays left when they knew that. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day. All right, so that's the reality. Don't kill the messenger. But nevertheless, that's the reality heading into these final six. And the way they play during these final six means heading out this weekend, win or lose, with tenacity, fight, and always helping so others flourish. And that's the A topic. So let's just get after it and see what they can do this weekend. And good morning, Mr. Nordquist.
Good morning. I kind of liken it to, for the Gophers, for instance. Axe is on the line tomorrow. And there's not going to be playoffs for the Gophers, similarly for the Vikings. Mm-hmm. So showing up, winning the rivalry game, showing up, playing every snap with pride. So it's going to be the player that lays out or has to go out of body a bit to make a catch from the undrafted rookie who may have the jitters this weekend at Lumen.
Right.
It's going to be, we need to see a competitive effort against the Packers later this season. We need to see those moments from the team that says, even if fundamentally professional pride, and maybe there is self-interest involved with a contract on the line, trying to find momentum into 2026, all of those things, when you start to see a team towards the end of the season where you're constantly seeing lack of discipline, penalties, poor play, even from players you consider to be the pillars of your offense or the pillars of your defense, that's the state of a team in complete disarray. That's when coaches start getting fired. That is an absolute just dead black hole in a franchise heading into an offseason. So over the final six, while the playoffs aren't possibly in the mix, your ability to stand tall against your rivals, to stand tall as soon as facing Sam Darnold this weekend.
Thank you.
There's a pride element into it, and there can be bad connotations to pride. I think this is a moment where there's a good connotation to it. Go out there and continue to fight, and specifically with this kid Max maybe making his first start, most likely making his first start in the NFL this weekend, set a platform for the kid to do his thing.
Thank you.
If you're down on the rookie, the 10th overall pick, and you're frustrated with how this season has gone, well, give Max the best opportunity to show you something different. If you're down on 9, let's help 12 do his thing at Lumen Field this weekend. So there's a pride element to it. I think that matters a lot.
Yeah, professional pride.
Yes.
And let's just the defensive line for the Minnesota Vikings. All right, you got some veterans there, but you also have cats like Jalen Redmond, who's playing for a life-changing deal, which he probably will get on the horizon no matter which way these final six go. You got somebody like Levi Drake Rodriguez, 7th-round pick, Texas A&M Commerce. He's got like 8 tackles for loss, 1 sack in his career. He gives 10 of 10 every single snap.
Right.
Now, he may not be as gifted as Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, who have made markedly more money than Levi Drake Rodriguez has made. But when I say the final 6 involve being your brother's keeper, that means for Redmond and or Levi Drake Rodriguez, this is just a one-position example. Ain't nobody calling anybody out. But you got 2 younger players there looking to establish themselves and establish careers that already have been established by veterans who currently occupy 2 of those spots. If the veterans look at it like, well, you know what, the last thing I want to do is rehab in the offseason, ain't no playoffs, ain't no playoff money, and you're not getting 10 of 10 effort from them, well, A, it's going to impact the younger guys around them who are just trying to make their way, and they're going to give 10 of 10. You won't be your brother's keeper. And quite honestly, when I watch these things back, as we watch them back moving forward, I'm not an elite film watching mind, but I know what to look for, and I know to whom I can talk to figure out exactly what's happening. And if that's the case with anybody on this Minnesota Vikings team, the final 6 games, I don't care who you are, how much you make, how ballyhooed you are, or what your legacy is supposed to be or is. You go to the bench. And practice squad players, backups, they come in and play because at least they're going to play hard, and at least they're going to give their brothers around them a fair chance to do what they do, trying to establish their careers.
Yeah, and now I will say this. I have zero worries about those 2 names you mentioned, specifically Redmond and a Levi Drake Rodriguez.
Yeah.
It does creep into my head a bit when you talk about highly touted veterans, when you think about specifically free agents or at this stage of their careers maybe gun for hire, where they're going to go to a team under the pretense that this is going to be a good team and they're going to have an opportunity at a deep run in January. Now there's not going to be a run. So now are we thinking about cruises? Are we thinking about the offseason? Are we thinking about my next destination because it's not working out in Minnesota? So I anticipate over the next 6 weeks we're going to see a bit of that.
Well put.
But those young cats who have everything to lose and very little to gain by chilling, they need to find their way through with more consistency here towards the backstretch of 2025. You know, whether it's I want to see TJ Hawkinson still running the same routes that we've seen him run and make him an option for Max this weekend and McCarthy down the road. I want to see my big-timers not dropping passes. I want to see this again, whether it's the platform for the kid QB or the professional pride element that you were speaking of earlier. I just think that that's an A topic into Sunday and an A topic beyond.
Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba are looking to destroy you.
What a pair.
They're looking to destroy you. And they better know that at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. It better be in their minds even just a little bit. Offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak was here the year before everybody got here. All right? He's looking to score 50. Seattle assistant head coach Leslie Frazier wants to beat you by 50 and do it with class. And do it with dignity.
A smile and hugs and handshakes afterwards.
I predict if you protect Brosmer, he'll hit them in stride and on time. If you protect Brosmer and everybody's doing what they're supposed to do with the route running. So, in closing, 4-7 to a certain extent neutralizes the state of cocky and the wisecracking that we're bit raised. I mean, we're KFAN raised. We're bit raised. We find wisecracking in a lot of different things, and the state of cocky can be with respect, but kind of having a cocky approach to a game, whether you completely believe it or not.
The one-liners
have fun.
The one-liners kind of change a little bit when you're coming from 4-7.
Well, that's from 4-7. That's been neutralized, and that's fun and good-natured. But only the fool mocks the 8-3. With the head coach who has a 2-year losing record at home. Only the fool mocks the 12s and calls them bloviating pigs. Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba are primed and ready to attack. So drop a boom on that quarterback and make him feel the pressure. We'll chat more Vikings Seattle Seahawks with Alec Lewis from The Athletic around the corner. That's part of the Timber Tech What's on Deck set list. We do have some feast-related curveballs today, given our location. To wit, Ryan Burns from Gopher Illustrated is going to stop by. Big Mall of America Black Friday guy, from what I hear, because the Battle for the Axe takes place at 2:30 on KFAN tomorrow. So Bo Hunt and Burnsy will be here at 10 o'clock. And a frequent contributor to KFAN and 9 to noon, Parker Fox. He'll also stop by here at about 11 o'clock. But before that, Minnesota Vikings Immortality is going to be calling us. The big ticket, Kevin Williams. He'll join at about 10:45. Why? He's a semifinalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Nordo co-hosts, and I'm Paul Allen. We thank Sam and J-Dub, Jared Wells, for assisting us with the engineering on site. Devin Ward, we thank you for guiding the great ship Love Covenant at FM 100.3 KFAN. And most importantly, we thank all of you for showing up and making it a funky Friday football. What? I mean, they're 4-7, but everybody's still ready to have a good time at the Friday football feast on FM 100.3 KFAN. Back after this. With The Athletic is generally on site for the Friday football feast, but he's spending part of Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving week with his family down Anniston, Alabama way. And Alec's inclusion 9 to noon each and every week is courtesy of Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com. Likewise for the marathon segments. They have Black Friday savings that leak into next week. And when picking up appliances from Steve's Appliances, make sure you ask about or make sure you get the free 2-year warranty with some of these appliances that you will be purchasing at a very, very cut rate. Steve's Appliances, Mounds View, 7,000 square foot showroom. If you want to stop by for some on-site Black Friday shopping for appliances, then get the fast delivery, free recycling, and guaranteed low prices that makes Steve's Appliances second to none. It's a standalone local company, and Saturday is Small Business Saturday, so support companies like this and businesses like this, specifically Steve's Appliances. Wonderful, wonderful people, stevesappliances.com. And Alec joins us now at Alec_Lewis via the X machine. And Alec, was there some Birmingham barbecue for Thanksgiving? Is that what you guys did down there? And good morning.
Yeah, good morning, fellas. Happy Thanksgiving to the folks listening. No, there wasn't any barbecue actually for the Thanksgiving dinner. I did have some at my father's office for lunch. I believe that was Wednesday. So it's been had. The ribs, the pork, the mac and cheese, it's been had. You can't come down here without having it. So it's been sprinkled in for sure.
Hey, Alec, growing up in Alabama, have you ever seen like a real traditional hog roast where they dig a hole in the ground, you got banana leaves, you got charcoal, you have the physical spit with the full hog? Have you ever been a part of one of those things?
No, I've done some different stuff, like some quail, frying some quail out back. I mean, I've done some stuff, but the digging a hole with the leaves, whatever you're talking about, that feels like I don't know. That hasn't hit my doorstep in Anniston. It has not.
What do you expect Sunday in Seattle?
I expect it to be very interesting. I expect Max Brosmer to be playing quarterback. I'm not sure what I expect for the offensive line. Not having Christian Darrisaw or Donovan Jackson would be really, really difficult against Seahawks front that is spectacular. And then obviously you've got Sam on the other side against Brian Flores, who will know him well and know how to attack him well. So it's at least for me, it's actually really looking forward to the matchup and looking forward to being at Lumen Field, which is one of my favorites to watch a game. So pretty excited, actually. One of the most, as excited as I've been in some time to watch a Vikings game, probably.
What leads you to betting on Brosmer as being the quarterback Sunday?
Yeah, multiple reasons. One of them, obviously, being that the Vikings, with J.J. McCarthy being injured earlier this year, they took a very long-term approach with that and not wanting J.J. to be rushed back, knowing the importance that he has been to this organization. And so, obviously a concussion being in the concussion protocol, is different from a high ankle sprain, but I don't see a reason for the team's strategy to shift regardless of that injury. And then the other aspect would just be when players have been concussed since Kevin O'Connell has been here, and it's around the league, it's similar, but they've taken a very, in my opinion, smart route of not throwing guys back in because of the possibility that some of these symptoms can fade and then re-arise because of the nature of these head injuries. So it's that, and then obviously Max Brosmer took all the first-team reps Wednesday, and I just would expect that it'd be really hard to have a disjointed week of practice where you got multiple guys taking first-team reps. It's just, I don't see how that would be conducive. So that's all of that is my reasoning for expecting and very strongly believing Max Brosmer will be under center Sunday.
Following this thing as closely as you do from camp over the summer, et cetera, are there things specifically that I guess in some ways jump out to you in terms of how Max Brosmer just fundamentally is different than J.J. McCarthy? Are there any traits or things that you've picked up on where it's like number 12 is going to look a lot different than number 9 as soon as maybe Sunday against the Seahawks?
Yeah, it's tough because Max Brosmer, most of training, really all of training camp was working with the third-team offense. And so it was just, and going up against typically some of the backup defenders. So it's hard to get a real gauge. I was impressed throughout the entirety of training camp with his ability to get the ball out quick and see the field. Like, that's something that it just never felt like pressure got to him without him getting the ball out of his hand. So you don't know with the speed of the game increasing, obviously, against the starters and a front like this one, how that would look. I would also say, it is abundantly clear that Max Brosmer does not have the sheer arm strength that J.J. McCarthy has, but I saw him get the ball up and down. I saw him be pretty accurate, and so, I know it's a fun, silly little story that here's this Minnesota product who's a UDFA who they like, but I've talked to people around the league, and I talked to someone in the Seahawks building this week who's like, we are not taking this lightly. We watched the film of the preseason games with him too, and it's like one of the Seahawks staffers, we had scouts raving about this guy, and the staffer said, if we were raving about this guy, why didn't we draft him? So it's going to be interesting. That's what I'll say.
The in the opening segment, when and you have a veteran laden team to a certain extent, and with 6 to go, and the playoffs are the longest of long shots ever to be a long shot. And that's the reality with 3 major holidays in front of you when you know this: Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day. Knowing you're not going to be a playoff team more than likely with that much time left, for me, this makes the final 6 what I call human nature games, where the human nature of people overcoming what is required not only for them, but for the team to win a game, but to be their brother's keeper. And one example I used is, and this is nothing against Javon Hargrave or Jonathan Allen, but they happen to play with Jalen Redmond, who's the best defensive lineman on the team, and Levi Drake Rodriguez with 8 tackles for loss, and he gives 10 of 10 every single play. Well, Jalen's playing for the biggest deal that he probably ever will get in his life. Levi Drake Rodriguez is doing the best he can to establish and sustain a long National Football League career. So what you're going to get from those guys is going to be 10 of 10. They're going to pay attention to the detail. They're going to give everything they have. And with 6 to go from 4 and 7, the human nature gets to win too, and you've heard me say that before. Well, I mean, you got a month and a half of these games coming up, man, where you just got to make sure everybody is as on point as they can be for the Redmonds, the Levi Drake Rodriguez, the Max Brosmers or JJ McCarthy's. You know what I'm saying here, right?
Yeah, I mean, but you could even spin it to where it's like if you're Javon Hargrave or Jonathan Allen, I mean, you're playing to try to establish that you shouldn't be cut this offseason for cap reasons. So, like, and you look around the roster, I mean, there's a lot of different spots where you could pinpoint real reasons that would push these guys to give everything they've got. I mean, one of them for me is, I mean, I don't know the extent of Christian Darrisaw's injury right now, but, like, I mean, that's a guy who probably needs to prove to teammates his level of commitment. I mean, Donovan Jackson, he's still trying to establish himself. Kevin O'Connell made it very clear after the Packers game that Donovan Jackson wants to continue playing and wanted to continue playing in that game. And so, I mean, that's a guy who's going to prove it. Brian O'Neill is the leader of this team. You know he's going to give it everything he's had.
Right.
Jalen Naylor, I expect to give it a lot. I mean, he's, pushing for a new contract. So you're exactly right that throughout these last games, it is going to be incumbent upon this group, rising to the level that would be expected for them to continue to earn the money that they want to earn and maintain spots on the roster that they have. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, but this team's going to have to make a lot of decisions this offseason from a cap perspective, and some of those will come from contract restructures. But there are a lot of older players on this roster who their performance down the stretch here will play a big role in terms of how the Vikings approach this thing.
What is Flores and company up against this weekend, Alec? Sam, the man formerly regularly, weekly on the Fan, Sam Darnold's 9.3 yards per attempt is tops in the league, Alec. And Jackson Smith and Jigba, that partnership, that pairing has been as elite as any in the NFL this year, and I expect they're going to try to keep that rolling this weekend. But how truly good has Sam Darnold been from your analysis and preparation for this game? What are we up against with this kid?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this Seahawks offense is they've designed it so well where they'll use heavy personnel, and it's really to get you in bigger body situations where they can throw on you. And so you really face a decision as a defense. Do we put heavy bodies out there to potentially stop the run and make ourselves susceptible against the pass? Or do we put lighter bodies out there, which allows them to run? Because they're willing. Clint Kubiak will run it, loves to run it. That's what he wants to do if you allow him to do that. So it's kind of, to use the phrase that you guys use, it's kind of a pick your poison type of defensive challenge. And Sam's been what we know well from watching Sam over the course of last year. Like, the arm talent blows you away at times. And then there are other instances where he's having to sort through changing rush, changing coverage, and he gets a little antsy, and it leads to turnovers. I mean, the Seahawks have the second most turnovers in the NFL behind the Vikings. So they will turn the football over, and it is a spot for the defense to force some that have not been there for much of this year. But then there is the JSN issue, where, your corners have to be so engaged and present. If you're playing off coverage, they'll hit you, on little comeback routes. If you're pressing up, he will win with strength and with savviness. I mean, he is a special receiver, and Sam trusts him at an almost unbelievable level. So it is definitely an immense challenge. And their offensive line has been better, I think, than some people think. So or some people thought before the season. So it is a tough challenge for sure, but it's not one where I would count Brian Flores out knowing what bothers Sam Darnold. I do think that gives this Vikings defense a chance, certainly.
Alec Lewis, The Athletic, theathletic.com, weekly 9 to noon at the Friday Football Feast, courtesy of Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com.
You know, you mentioned it when you were talking about Sam, those turnovers. I think it's 10 picks and 4 lost fumbles. This team, our favorite team, only 2 takes in the last 8 games in totality, all part of a story of a team that's not like it was just 12 months ago. This is a good opportunity maybe for Flores, get their groove back a little bit and find their way to take one this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no question. And I think, I just talked a little bit about the left side, about the offensive line. I think the Seahawks left side is really good. I mean, they've got a guy, Charles Cross, at left tackle, who's an underrated player, and then the left guard we know well is a rookie in Gray Zabel from North Dakota State, who was obviously in the Vikings crosshairs. So the right side of the line, to me, is attackable. Jonathan Renard has been, considered limited on the injury report both days this week. You love if he were to go full today and be a part of this thing. I mean, I really, Jonathan Renard, I know that he's missed sacks at points this year where he's had trouble wrapping up the quarterback, but he has lived in the backfield, for much of this year. So to have him would be huge. And then, as it's been all year, PA mentioned Jalen Redmond, and he's exactly right. Jalen has been the best defensive lineman. He's been a problem. He'll need to be on Sunday. And then you're probably looking at Eric Wilson flying up the A-gap. I mean, he's been another one of the Vikings' best pass rushers from an off-the-ball perspective this year, and probably the best signing in general from the entire offseason. So going to need all of those guys to make it tough on Sam. And if you can pressure him, again, we know it becomes – he becomes a little skittish, and the rhythm of their offense falls off a little bit. So again, it's definitely a doable challenge, is what I would say.
Alec, if this is an unanswerable question, then we can just move on. But if you're Kevin O'Connell, all right, with either the end of practice today, Saturday night at the team hotel in Seattle, or Sunday before the game, if you're Kevin O'Connell, what's the preach? Because most are frustrated right now. How do you handle it?
Yeah, it's a great question. And he gets paid a lot more money to come up with something than I do, and he does it well because that's one of his strengths is the leadership aspect. But I would go to kind of what you talked about with the human nature aspect. And there's a lot of guys who will need to perform to maintain jobs. I think it's so much about pride too. Like, this is a team that entered this season with a lot of expectations, which were understandable because of the talent level. And there have been a lot of reasons, injuries, travel, lack of performance at a ton of different spots that have affected this season from being what everyone listening to this show and everyone in that building wanted this season to be. But that does not prohibit this group from coming together down the stretch on the road against, in a spot where no one believes they're going to win. I mean, I think that's the message. It's got to be the message. And then it's more right now about action than preaching. I think it's just more about, this team being together and giving it everything they've got around what will be a quarterback in his first start on the road in a really tough environment. And again, like we've talked about Max, and it's a fun story because he went to Minnesota, but I think he's capable enough of getting the ball out quick and moving the ball against a defense that is really good. I do, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see that Sunday.
College football, before we say goodbye. Bo Hunt and Burnsy, Ryan Burns, of Gopher Illustrated, will be here at 10 o'clock to chat about some college football.
He's awesome.
And the Axe game at 2:30 tomorrow, Huntington Bank Stadium. Can Alabama win a national championship?
I don't think they can. I really don't.
Do you have to be top of that?
They've got this quarterback, Ty Simpson, who's probably going to be a first, second-round pick or what have you, but makes a little too many mistakes for me. They don't run the football well enough. And then defensively, they've been good, but they just lost to Oklahoma, so I don't know. It's tough. But the games today are spectacular. You got Arch Manning against A&M, one of the best teams in the country. You got the Egg Bowl, Lane Kiffin doing some mayhem. I mean, this is for the college football lovers right here, PA.
Yeah. And Ohio State, Michigan. Now, Ohio State and Indiana are 1-2. I'm going to ask the same question to Bo Hunt and Bernsey. How did the Hoosiers get so good? Because we hear so much about the transfer portal, NIL markets, and things like this. I mean, Bloomington, Indiana, I just never knew it to be, an absolute hotbed for NIL money. But I mean, they've gotten good. They're staying good. How have the Hoosiers done this?
Yeah, I do think there's been a little NIL injection. Mark Cuban may be a part of that. I think he's an alumnus, so I think that seems like it's part. But I mean, their head coach Kurt Cignetti has just transformed the program. Like, this guy was Alabama's recruiting coordinator under Nick Saban. Then he went off and became the head coach at James Madison, I believe. And Indiana hired him. He's 60 plus years old, and he is just transformed that entire program. Their quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, might be the number one pick in this upcoming draft. So it's pretty crazy, actually, what they've done there. I'm excited for the college football. You can probably hear it in my voice.
Georgia Tech. I mean, you're right. There are some really good ones today. All right, let's close with our weekly fantasy piece that we call IHoP in honor of Paul Charchian, the decade-and-a-half co-host of the Friday Football Feast, not co-hosting for the first time this year. And so therefore we constructed a fantasy football-related segment or portion of a segment called IHoP in honor of Paul. And here's the score. Alec and Nordo each have 40 points. I have 54. I have blanked 2 consecutive weeks after taking a big lead. Blanked the last couple of weeks, so you guys are definitely within shouting distance. It's a touchdown only related bit, and we hit wide receivers this week. Again, just touchdowns, no yardage, and 6 points for receiving and rushing touchdowns, 4 for throwing touchdowns. Wide receivers this week, you can't take somebody you took earlier in the season. So, therefore, Alec, you're first. Who's your wide receiver via IHoP?
Yeah, I'm going to try to. Last week with Jahmyr Gibbs, the comeback train is on. Okay, so I'm giving it everything I've got.
It was 18 points.
Real
Nordo had 6
hardcore analysis. I've got a spreadsheet. It's like I've got EFF grades like Charchwood. It's everything you could possibly ever ask for the study and research for this. I'm taking Davante Adams of the Rams going up against the Panthers. I'm not sure if J.C. Horn, the Panthers corner, is going to play in that game. He's spectacular, but if he doesn't play with McVay and Stafford and that whole crew, Davante Adams, that's going to be my pick. They've just been too good offensively, and that's what I'm going to do. I couldn't take JSN. That would be just sacrilegious. So
you already took him.
It's Davante Adams.
Yeah, you took JSN early in the season, so he was a non-starter for you. You sniped me. I didn't think you were going to take Davante. Davante has 9 touchdowns in the last 5 games. That's an absolutely beautiful pick. So Davante Adams for Alec Lewis. Nordo, what you have up your sleeve?
Well, I was thinking about Puka till you're satisfied.
Wow. Whatever it is.
I am going sacrilegious on this, Alec. I'm rooting for my favorite team. I'm rooting for pride, professional pride, to carry my favorite team at Lumen Field. I'm also thinking that Jackson Smith and Jigba and that partnership with Sam Darnold continues this weekend. Sam wants to drop 50 on the purple.
Ain't no doubt.
He didn't tell me this. I'm just feeling it, and I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to score a touchdown this weekend.
I'm going to give myself a rooting interest today then. With the Bears and the Eagles, I'll take Devontae Smith. I'm not taking A.J. Brown. I'll take Devontae Smith for the Philadelphia Eagles. And safe travels, my brother. And we will see you at Lumen Field this Sunday. Okay, Alec?
Thank you, guys. Give the Buffalo Wild Wings in the Mall of America my best. It's one of my favorites. Their Buffalo wings are some of the best you can find. So thank you, guys, and I will see you at Lumen, PA.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Tell John that I say hi. Appreciate you.
Happy
Alec Lewis,
Thanksgiving.
courtesy of Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com. So we had 3 games yesterday. We have 1 today, then the Vikings in Seattle this Sunday. The dogs were barking yesterday.
Yeah.
We will stab that and continue from Buffalo Wild Wings Mall of America and the Friday Football Feast. Back after this. Hunt and Bernsey negotiating the Mall of America parking ramps right now, assumedly, to join 9 to noon at Buffalo Wild Wings Mall of America for the Friday Football Feast. Eric Nordquist, yours truly, Paul Allen, FM 100.3 KFAN. The Bow Hunter is the creator and a big part of Gopher Illustrated, gopherillustrated.com. So he'll be joining us in a little bit to chat about the Gophers and their final conference game with a Bucky in town, 2:30 tomorrow, Huntington Bank Stadium. And the Gophers are a dog in that game. Bucky's favored by 1.5. Which, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be Lee Corso here, like pulling a buffalo head off my head to declare who I'm taking in a Colorado game. But I was moderately surprised from afar that Wisconsin is favored in this game. Why? Because Wisconsin hasn't won a road game all year.
Yeah.
They scored 27 last game. Oh, wow, look at that, Paul. Yeah, they were going against their former coach, Brett Bielema, who I think a zillion people within the Wisconsin program still loathe. So they scored 27. That's great. The same amount of points they scored in their previous 5 games. They scored 27 points over 5 games and got shut out twice.
Yeah, they're awful, man. They're on their 4th quarterback too.
Wow.
But that was one of the
down to their 4th.
Yeah, I think it's Carter Smith or something like that.
Yeah, and he's a true freshman from Florida.
And that's after just 3 other L's. Maybe one of them got hurt, but it's been a disaster all season.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I wanted to get into with Bernsey too. Is how on earth? And by the way, in fairness, Gophers haven't won a road game all season either.
Right, but we're at home.
But they're in the comfy confines where they are undefeated. They've had the axe 3 of the last 4 years. 1.5 dogs at home. Just kind of weird
I don't get
to me. I'm looking forward to seeing Drake and the boys in the regular season finale just handle that thing at Huntington tomorrow.
Well, the dogs were barking yesterday. All 3 underdogs won. The Green Bay Packers were 3-point underdogs. The Dallas Cowboys were 3.5, 4-point underdogs. And the Joe Burrow-led Cincinnati Bengals were like 6.5 point underdogs. 2 of the road teams won. Green Bay caught Detroit at absolutely the perfect time. Green Bay gets Josh Jacobs back, and Detroit's down in the game. Amon-Ra St. Brown with an ankle, but they're down their center, Graham Glasgow, and things are so bad for the Motor City Kitties, the defending NFC North champions. That center spot is so bad that Chanhasen's Frank Ragnow, and we ain't joking here if you missed it, because I didn't know about it until yesterday. Chanhasen's Frank Ragnow is coming out of retirement to play center for the Detroit Lions, probably starting next game. My man's coming out of retirement because he misses the game. He's a stud. He's going to give you 10 of 10 every single play. And physically speaking, he's obviously all squared away, and he misses playing football, but after watching that center play yesterday by my man in the middle for the Kitties, I can't even remember his name. It was bad, and they were down Kirby Joseph. They just Green Bay caught Detroit at a really, really good time yesterday. Found a way to win the game. In the middle game, the Vikings have Dallas on the schedule coming up relatively soon.
That game looks different than it did 2 months ago.
The demise of the Dallas Cowboys has been greatly exaggerated by yours truly. They added Kenny Clark in that Michael Parsons deal.
Yep.
They added Quinnen Williams. Jadeveon Clowney, which I had forgotten. Jadeveon Clowney is now in the chat. They got this corner named Wilson.
Yep.
Who knew?
And they got this rookie backer. I think it's Ezeraku.
Yes.
And he's been
big
playing,
and he's mean.
And he's been playing out of his mind. And that's kind of the joke that I've gone down the road of anytime they come up is just how brutal that defense has been.
Yeah.
And, now Kenny Clark.
Started out that way yesterday.
They've actually, it looks like by the depth chart, Kenny Clark is not starting, maybe more of pass rush package, certain situational bits.
Bro, they got Quinnen Williams. I forgot until I watched the game yesterday.
That's the problem. And Quinnen is an absolute game changer. He's been unbelievable. I saw some stat yesterday that in his 2 or 3 games with the Cowboys, he has already surpassed the number of pressures and some of the production he had in the previous 8 games before when he was a Jet. The Cowboys' defense is better. And the offense is just smooth, man. Like they have a way, the figuring out how to make Javonte Williams a force has really been impressive. Pickens kind of in that career resurrection tour.
I'm going to amplify it. From what I've watched now, I probably shouldn't say it this way because Devontae Adams has 9 touchdowns in the last 5 games, and I haven't really watched much of him, but I know he's really good. If there are 2 more uncoverable receivers in the NFL right now when the quarterback is protected than Jackson Smith and Jigba and George Pickens, I need to see who they are. Pickens gets open every single time. He's so amazingly fast, too.
Yeah, gifted cat, and he was previously with the Steelers, I believe, and I don't know what went wrong or why it was kind of like we got to move on from him. Whatever.
He was a bad actor in college. Can't remember. Yeah, there was baggage associated with Pickens.
Was he a Penn State kid?
Or Michigan State, something like that. Couldn't get going. Then eventually was traded.
Yeah.
And boy, he's going right now. Holy cow, is George Pickens good.
Well, and in Schottenheimer's offense, and he was kind of the beneficiary too early when CeeDee Lamb was out. So him being able to establish himself, now CeeDee's back. One of the more explosive tandem wide receiver tandems in the NFL. The Cowboys look completely different than when I'm thinking, okay, so weird game against the Falcons week 2, we lose it. Where are you going to pick up victories? Well, thank goodness later in the season we get to go to Dallas and get to go to the Giants. Well, that conversation is a little bit different than it was in late September.
Hey.
Is Bernsey here already?
Yeah, Bernsey. What's up, Bernsey?
Oh, you got here
about
early.
5 minutes, Bernsey, maybe 7.
So yeah, but then on the other side of it, I mean the Chiefs where they are at right now, 6-6 is super weird, and they were really a hair.
Are they 6-6 or 5-7? 6-6.
6-6.
Ooh, they got went out.
But they're a hair from being 5-7 after just a little stagnation with the Colts offense led them to come back and win that OT game against the Colts. Man, the Chiefs are just not in it right now. It's weird too. I mean, you're throwing 4 TDs in a loss. Like that's just not a Patrick Mahomes issue that he's ever had, having to chase his defense. And they had to do it yesterday, and they lost.
Well, and then Baltimore got killed by Cincinnati. I mean, Joe Burrow was all over the gym with the football in his return with the turf toe. I think they might have lost by like 20. It was close to that. But coming into the season, just think about last year for a second, how it finished.
Lamar's been terrible.
Who added what and why. But the Kansas City Chiefs were in the Super Bowl last year, lost to Philly. That team's 6-6. The Minnesota Vikings won 14 games last year. They have 4 victories. The Detroit Lions, they won 15 last year. They're 7-5.
Yeah.
And the Baltimore Ravens, I mean, when the schedule comes out, they're one of the favorites to be a 1 seed in their conference. And they're 6-6.
Well, how about the Bills? They get out of bed and win 13 every season with Josh Allen, and they're grinding and staring up at Drake May and the Patriots right now.
Right.
Changing the face a lot.
Yep.
With new blood in the Colts and the Broncos having the seasons they're having. The Rams, talk about adding. They just happen to be drafting nearly perfectly the last few seasons.
Carolina Panthers. I mean, they're 6-5.
Yeah.
And they won at Lambeau. And the Packers might win the NFC North. Carolina won at Lambeau. Holy cow.
What is happening?
It's just quirky right now. And today you have the upstart Chicago Bears against the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles. And yes, absolutely Chicago can win that game. Why not? All the dogs are barking, and if you sleep on these dogs, man, somebody's going to get bit because it happened 3 times yesterday, and Ben Johnson has the Bears going very, very well. All right, we segue to the battle for the axe with Bo Hunt and Bernsey around the corner at Buffalo Wild Wings Mall of America. You're listening to the Friday Football Feast on KFAN.